Hello, everyone. Welcome to VR Verdict Podcast, episode 150. Our weekly podcast where we talk about everything VR. But this week, we're talking with Dmaw, the developer of Sushi Ben. How's it going, man?
Good, man. It's cool to finally be on the podcast.
Yeah, before we get into the game, maybe we'll talk about that. I was looking at that this evening. So those familiar with us, we've done a dev roundtable in the past. We did it once a month for 15 months. And the first time we did it, I think it was August 21. So, I mean, we've been talking for a long time, and you've been working on this game since before then. So,
yeah,
it's I can't imagine how it is on your end with release, but just having chatted about it so much and hearing about it, like it's cool to me. So I can't imagine making it and then putting it into the world. So, congrats, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
big congrats.
I mean, when we were doing the little round table stuff, like I was literally just making the game during that entire time, and so that's pretty cool that y'all were there, there chatting before I think before we even got funding, I think we were doing that podcast, or whatever. So I think that was pretty cool. I miss everybody on that.
I remember you talking about funding once, and then we never saw you again. You got really busy.
Yeah, I had to make the game now, so I didn't have time to do anything.
Serious business.
Yeah, I think in 2021 that's when we got funding, and then everything just went crazy from there, and it was just I had no time to do anything like hang out with friends, podcast, play games.
Yeah, you would randomly pop in the middle of an episode and then just disappear.
Yeah.
It was there goes.
I would try to come in midway through or whatever, and I would be like, "Yeah, what's up, guys?" And then I'd have to leave because I had a meeting later on. Because half the team, because we had the podcast that night or whatever, and half the team was in Asia, so I was always this was morning for them, so I had to go and do stuff.
Yeah, those are some questions I'll be asking later about time zones and all that fun stuff. So,
yeah,
I can only imagine how fun that was to deal with, because you could tell you're always just tired.
I'm always tired. Always tired.
It's normal for devs from what we hear. So, but
yeah.
So yeah, man, the game came out on October 19th, and
October 19th
on Steam and Meta platform.
No, not on Steam. Not on Steam.
Not on Steam?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
No.
Coming soon?
Coming soon. Everyone is, asking, where's the Steam version? or whatever. And so I'm just kind of I'm working on that. It was just so hard to release multiple games, at the same time or whatever. Yeah. And, or multiple, release on multiple headsets at the same time, that we just couldn't do it. We were trying for a sim launch, but we could not pull it off. It was too much.
That's one thing I don't think people understand very well. In the flat world of traditional gaming, there's different systems, but the VR world, there's different headsets, which are completely different systems, and I don't think people really get that.
There's even more headsets than there are, consoles. So it's just a huge hassle to make sure that this works on the index, and each headset has its own little quirk where even the Quest 3 had its own little bugs that were specific to the Quest 3 compared to the Quest 2. It was tough.
Well,
to get all that to go.
There's quirks and controllers and the whole gamut of stuff, probably more than a traditional console has. So it's and more than half of VR devs are indie. So that's just always been mind-boggling to me. So you guys are I don't know, crazy. I think you're literally crazy.
Yeah, there's a famous video that goes around every now and then where there's a VR dev and he's just putting on 50 different headsets. I think I have at least 3 on my desk right now. They're all Quests, different versions of Quest 2s and 3s, but just I have a closet. I've never bought a single VR. I've bought one VR headset my entire life. And that was the OG Rift. And if you go into my closet, it is just filled with just boxes and boxes and boxes of VR headsets. Like I didn't buy any of them. They all just, the companies, they just send them to us to test our game on it, and it's just like so it's so overwhelming or whatever. Yeah.
Do you have a video of you opening the closet door and just getting buried by a pile of boxes?
Yeah, I should make that a TikTok or something. I think that'd be funny. Yeah, just getting piles and piles. The boxes they come in are so nice, though.
Well, I remember I was trying, like, my gaming room's only so big, and I was trying to make some room, so I finally, like, all right, get rid of some boxes. That old OG Rift box, like, you could literally hit that thing with a car, and your headset would be safe. Like, it took me physical strength to get that thing broken down. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, it was. They're pretty hefty boxes. I currently use a Quest 2 box as a footrest under my desk because it's so sturdy.
Reuse, recycle.
Yeah, it's so sturdy.
Is there a headset in it or no?
No headset. There used to be controllers in there, and then I had to use them, but yeah.
It's awesome.
Yep.
So, just curious, like, I guess how is launch going for you guys? Is it because is this the first game you've ever released as a dev?
First game, yeah, this is the first game I have ever made. I never wanted to be a game dev. I never had plans to be a game dev. And so this is the first time I've done anything related to games, period. And so like I literally got into games just to make this game, and then whatever happens next, I don't know. But launch, I will say, it's going pretty good. Reception is nice. I think we're lacking in a bit of exposure. Like I think our only problem right now is just getting the game out there to people and letting them know that it's actually out. Like I stream on TikTok or whatever, and people come into the chat and they're like, "Yo, I can't believe the game is out. I had no idea." And it was like a week later. So trying to get the word out has been actually the most difficult part.
Yeah.
We've sent the game out to every like game news site. We've sent codes out to every game news site. Pretty much all of the like a majority of the content creators. But October has been such a busy month.
Yeah, there's
we're kind of falling because we don't have like a budget. Like we can't pay anybody to like make content or grease the wheels or anything like that. So like our stuff kind of gets pushed to the side for the more paid content. And there's just so many games coming out this month or last month and this month.
And in VR alone, let alone like traditional systems, like my backlog just almost doubled in the last 2 months.
Like coming out during Mario Wonder, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, I think the game is gonna have a very. It's not going to be like we're not sprinting to like, the launch being an explosive launch. Like that's just not going to happen with all the competition. But I think the long lifespan of the game is going to sell well, I think, based on the metrics that we're seeing. So
I would say, and you can give your take or correct me in any way you need to, but so the game to me, it's basically kind of like living in an anime episode of a show and doing a lot of fun, quirky things, meeting a lot of fun, quirky characters, and it's just fun. Like it's and it's, as you can see in my background, like it's colorful. Yeah, there's a lot of like, I don't know if you want to call them mini games, but
yeah, I mean mini games is the best way to describe it. Like VR activities. Yeah, but I don't know. We call them mini games, even though that's kind of a confusing term for most people.
So it's just a fun world to be in, and there's a good amount of humor, charm up the wazoo, if you will. So you get to use chopsticks in VR, which is awesome for me because I love chopsticks. So
that was a fun one to develop because a lot of people didn't know how to use chopsticks. For some people, and so it was like I had to like send them a video like this is how you do it.
I don't understand that one, but
yeah. Well, some people never eat with chopsticks.
Yeah,
it's fine. that happens.
But I mean, we've all seen The Karate Kid, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, no, maybe not. Oh, that's an old movie. And
I know, I'm old.
I work with a lot of people that are like way younger than me, so
Yeah.
yeah. So that was fun. That was actually surprisingly hard to get like NPCs to use chopsticks. Like that, if you look in the game, they're still kind of bugged. There's kind of like sometimes they don't do it right or whatever.
I mean, it's realistic because sometimes they just fuck up.
Yeah, the hands, like every character has like a different length of hands, and so like a different size of hands because the game is so stylized that like chopstick sizes sometimes don't line up to their mouths because the chopsticks are too big. So I have to like make unique chopsticks for each character.
That's crazy.
So, yeah.
So, how would you describe the game to someone who has no idea what we're talking about?
I mean, I think you described it well. Just it's like living in an episode of an anime. Like each quest is kind of like would be an episode. Like most of the quests are about 30 minutes each, right? So, I would say it's kind of like a narrative adventure visual novel anime experience. I have no idea how to properly categorize it because there's like not really games quite like it in VR. I think. I don't. But yeah, it's like playing an episode of an anime. That's kind of like the idea.
So, before we get into like the backstory, like I'm curious, like what was the deciding factor when you're like, I have to make this into something? Was it like the panel stuff? Was it something else? Was it?
So I was in college not too long ago, and I was sitting in class. I think back in 2017, I was sitting in class, and this girl was giving a presentation on like what are the problems with VR, and like how like VR narratives specifically and making VR films, because like back then VR films were still like possibly a thing, you know, like even just like a 360 films or whatever. And so she was giving this presentation on like, oh, it's so hard to get people to look where you want them to look, or you know, it's hard to control where the player's looking and standing, and there's a lot of issues, and there's also kind of a loss of film language. Like I think a lot of reasons why people watch film so she was giving more than, you know, why film is way more popular than theater is because, you know, there's camera cuts and there's, you know, different things going on that you can't really do on a play. And I think VR for the most part does feel like a play because most of the times you can't interact, you know, very dynamically in a lot of narrative sequences. That's slowly probably changing, you know, as tech gets better, but at the most part, you know, you're kind of just watching a play, and that happens in my game, obviously. But we have these little manga panels, and so like, I was watching anime one day when I came home from class after hearing that girl talk about all those problems, and I sat down. I was just watching anime. I think I was eating cereal or something, and I saw like
with
this
chopsticks.
Eating cereal with chopsticks, and then I saw this like. I think it was JoJo, and they did this thing where they popped up some manga panels on screen to like show the character's expressions or whatever to like enhance the, you know, whatever the character was feeling. And I saw that and I was like, that could solve all those problems for VR narrative stuff. And then I was like, fine, I'll learn how to make 3D and do all that stuff. Because before I was a 2D animator and I had no idea how to do any of that kind of stuff with 3D. I actually hated 3D. I thought it was awful.
So you decided to get into VR to fix VR, is what you're.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I don't think, and I think I was very like naive about it. You know, like I didn't really understand just the depths of how complicated VR is at the time, and I had a lot of wrong assumptions and stuff. But I still had the idea of like I wanted to try to make VR narratives a little more exciting. And I think that adding the manga panels, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Like the game, you know, sometimes isn't perfect, sometimes they don't hit, sometimes they're a miss. But you know, I was trying everything, right? And so like adding the manga panels to stuff, I think makes scenes much more fun to watch overall. Being able to get like a close up of someone's expression, or you know, their fist clenching or whatever. So
It replaces that focus that the girl giving the talk was, the camera cuts give you something like this is what you're supposed to pay attention to. His brows are furrowed.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So like I basically made that my thesis project. I stopped doing 2D animation stuff, and I went straight into learning 3D. And I just made that my thesis, and I wrote like a 400-page. Actually, it's 300. It's only 300 pages. I'm about 300-page little document on like how this could revolutionize VR storytelling and a whole bunch of pretentious bullshit. But, I was trying to sound smart. Okay, I wanted to pass.
Was it double spaced?
Yes. Sort of, yeah. And there was lots of pictures too. There was lots of pictures because it's like a visual medium or thing. So I had to put pictures and describe them and all that stuff. So yeah, and I did that, and my professors, one of my you have like a committee or whatever that you have to like present your thesis to and see if they like your idea, and then I showed them the thesis, and they're like, wow, everyone is going to want to buy this, or want to like use this tech to, or you've done it, you've come up with a good idea.
What was that accent? Someone we know?
No, that wasn't Cyril. Cyril, I had been going to SCAD for over 10 years, and I had no idea Cyril even existed. I had never seen him in anywhere at the school, and we're in the same building every day. Like I'm literally like a floor above him, where he teaches.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Never. I mean, the school's not even that big. It's actually one of the smaller art schools, and never saw him. But yeah, no, that wasn't Cyril. That was just it was another guy with an accent or whatever in class. But he thought it was amazing, and he told me, yeah, this is great. You're gonna go far, and I'm like, maybe.
Uh-oh.
I was like, I wasn't sure, right? I had no idea if it was gonna be good or not. But they said it would, people would want it. And then once I as we can see, people gave me money to make the game, and I guess they were right. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember, like, time in my brain doesn't really ever translate well, but I played your older demo like way back when, and compared to now, like, it's an entirely different game. But the panels were like, the first time I saw those in VR, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
When I saw them, I was like, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just like, that's what I've always wanted a portal to be in a game. Where you just like see past through it, and I'm like, this guy's done it with his shader, I'm sure.
He's fixed VR.
I fixed VR. Yeah, it's a unique shader because it's not like everyone that does that kind of stuff in VR currently. They just do like it's like rendering a flat image,
right,
or whatever,
like a patch.
So, but mine is actually 3D. That scene is there in 3D space. Like it is. It's got so much depth. And it's just masked in a box in 3D space, so that like you can put whatever you want in there.
The mask was interesting to me because like I could tell it was like 3D, and I'm like, at the time I was trying to figure out how to like poke holes and stuff and have that hole go to somewhere else. I'm like, holy crap, that guy did it.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of how you do it. And so like. That demo, I actually went back and looked at that demo a few weeks ago, and I was like, that was pretty good. Because I didn't think it was that great, but like, because of the nature of like that demo, I was able to make things that I probably didn't have time to do on this project. I was able to be much more like obsess over every single panel. But meanwhile, in this project, there's like 2,500 panels or something in the game. It could be. I think there's more. I did more not too long ago, so since the last time I counted. But like, that's a lot of stuff. So like, I wasn't able to like meticulously craft every section in the game like it was in that demo. So that demo is really special because it was very handcrafted.
I spent probably, I don't know, I think you could get through the couple things you had in that demo in like 20-30 minutes easy.
It was I think it was like 7 minutes. It's actually really
was it? I mean, I wander around like, but I probably was in that demo total like 3 hours over, because I just go in there and I'm like, this is so fucking cool.
People would tell me they would just go and sit in the middle of the road and they would just look at the clouds and just like watch stuff like that.
And the sucky part with VR is like video never does it justice, but I think for your game especially, it really doesn't. It's even worse. Like you need to just take all those headsets in your closet and get a team of people and run around just put them on people's heads in the wild.
People's heads. I think my game is even like I thought my game was going to be easier to market compared to other VR games because it was like, you know, the visuals are so unique or whatever. But I found that it doesn't, recording gameplay just doesn't sell the game. Like just putting the headset on and recording you playing, for the most part, it just doesn't.
No.
It just doesn't look great. Like I mean, because of how it's framed and how like limited your field of view is, and then like how far away everything looks when you're recording as compared when you're in VR and you're in it, you know. Yeah, that's been a challenge trying to figure out how to make it look good in video. Actual gameplay looking good in video, like actually talking to NPCs and seeing the manga panels, and so. Yeah.
But I love the the start of the game. You start out on a train and you're talking to this elderly guy, and I mean you very well know, but the voice acting is holy shit. Like it's better than actual series. Like you know, it's insane. But just being on that train in VR, talking to that guy, and then getting to town is like so epic. Like people just need to try that first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
like,
I'm looking at, because like on the Quest developer hub, I'm able to we could make a demo, like we could let people play a demo or whatever. So I wonder if that might help people try it, you know, but at first we didn't want to give away a demo because we thought maybe once people saw the manga panels and they were done with it, they would probably not, that actually might decrease sales. But that hasn't been the case. Most people spend the average playtime in the game per session is like an hour. So most people usually spend like 20 to 30 minutes in a single VR session for some games. And we're pulling like an hour plus. Like on launch day, the average playtime like for a user was like 2 hours. So
that's awesome.
And that's longer than some VR games.
I mean, that's longer than some headsets last.
Yeah, exactly. That's longer than every person that I know has been playing, or the people that are close to me that have been playing the game. They all play it until the battery dies every session.
Yep, guilty.
Yeah. So it's it's cool to see that people playing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of know the story, but where did the idea for the actual game come from? How did it come about?
So I worked at a sushi bar for like, I don't know, 10 years or something when I was in college, and so for that like 10-year period, we I became really close to the people that I worked with, and we were like family or whatever, and whenever I needed something to do for a class project, I would always just make it based on the sushi bar and like whatever wacky waiter experiences I would have or whatever. And so I just kind of kept using that for projects. And then when I had that idea to solve the VR narrative problems, I was like, well, I guess I'll just keep doing that. And so, I just based the game off of this place that I used to work at, and then I kind of just like cobbled together different things I thought were cool from different animes, and then kind of strung it together into like one big story.
Nice.
That's where it comes from.
Did you, like, starting out in the first days, like, did you kind of like have like the whole story like kind of in your head or completed, or did you start?
I didn't. I honestly had no idea. Originally, the first like vision of the game was that there was no story. There was just a bunch of small stories, which that kind of still happens in the game. Like each time you meet a character, they have their own unique story that you go through with them. But there's still like an underlying, like, the Minami threatening the sushi bar type thing that got added like way later. When I was just thinking about it myself, it was just gonna be like a restaurant sub, where you would go around and meet customers. You'd go find somebody's lost cat. Very simple, not a lot of story, and you would just go do those little things, and little tiny narrative events would happen. Yeah, it was definitely not the same. I was definitely trying to make something much more. I had no idea what the story was going to be. I was just trying to make something that would show off the manga panels.
Nice. So, over the how long from start till launch were you working on? Was it 2 years? Was it a little less?
So
little
from 2 years, about 2 years from when we got funding, that's how long it took to make the game. And then, or when we found, I think when we founded our studio, like, because like the way getting funding works, you don't get it all at once, so it's not like you can start right away. But we did get enough funding early to start like actually open the company, or whatever. And that was like back in October of 2021, I think. Yeah. So in October of 2021, that's when we officially got our first bit of money and first opened the studio and first started paying someone else to work on the project. So that, yeah, 2 years. But the tech demo was another year. So like pretty much all of 2020 and 2020, the first half of 2021 was the tech demo. So I consider it for myself a three-year process, even though I've been like tinkering with the game idea since 2017. Because I was in college and I was just trying to finish college or whatever. So I don't really count that. But yeah, so 3 years and 2 years officially, I think.
That's crazy. So throughout that process, do you end up hating your game from playing it so much testing, or do you kind of like fall in love and then maybe a day or two you're like, ah?
It's a roller coaster. Like because the way I have to play the game, I don't ever get to experience it raw. Like I already know the story when I'm going into it. I know what to expect. I know what to do. So I don't ever get the magic. The magic comes in waves though. Like sometimes after we've made like a bunch of changes and I just play the game and then I forget that I'm supposed to be bug testing it and I'm just like enjoying the story. Those moments feel really good. But yeah, there's a lot of times where you're just like, this is dog water. I don't want to, like, what am I doing? Is anyone going to play this game? Do I like it? Like, is anyone going to like it? Like, I used to be a confident kind of person, and I thought that, yeah, the game is going to be amazing, and I would never second guess myself. But
well, I mean, your teacher told you so. So
yeah, my teacher told me so.
You passed the tribunal.
I passed the tribunal, so I mean, it had to be great, right? But no, there were so many times I hated the game. Like I was like, because like how chaotic making the game wound up being. There were a lot of times where the game didn't feel like a game. We didn't feel like we had a game until like, literally in like July or something, of this year. It didn't feel complete, or it didn't feel like I had no idea what it was going to feel like.
So I remember, because we, from the round table and all the old stuff we used to do with all the other guys at the round table, like we had a private chat, and I remember like you didn't do anything you shouldn't have been doing, but you're like, I can't wait to tell you guys what just happened. And yeah. I think you said that like once a month for a couple months around that same time. And once you could say something about, the voice actors and stuff, and then you started like releasing samples or clips and stuff, and it was like, wow. And
yeah.
I mean, that really, being in that game with that incredible talent is just like, it transports you, like I said, right in, like, you don't really feel like you're watching it, but you also don't feel like you're playing it. It's kind of a mix of the two. It's really incredible when you're in there.
Yeah.
So
I think that's when I stopped hating the game, or like stopped hating how things felt, was when we got the voice acting in there. And there were so many times when that wasn't gonna happen. There were people who didn't want that to happen. And I had to fight tooth and nail to make that happen. And I'm glad I did, because it was worth it. Like it changed everything. Like it made the game feel so amazing. And like the people, I mean, we hired like so many legendary talents. Like I grew up watching these people in anime, and I thought that was just like such a wild thing. Yeah. It was so hard to keep it a secret from everyone that we had, like, Aizen, the guy who acted, it was Aizen in Bleach, or...
I was gonna say, I told my girlfriend that the other day, and she's like, what? I'm like,
yeah.
Like, motherfucker was in the round table, never told me that one.
Yeah, I couldn't talk about it. Like, it was very, like, I'd get in super trouble if I talked about it. And, like, just the fact that, like, the old guy, the very first guy you meet is like Soul Bad Guy, you know, like the guy who acts that character in what's that fighting game? I always keep forgetting the name of it.
Is that Tekken?
No, it's not Tekken. No, 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 no.
Am I going too far back?
Guilty Gear.
Oh,
Guilty Gear. He's one of the main characters of Guilty Gear, you know. And he's also like the guy who plays Alucard in Van Helsing, super old anime. He's a legend. Like it's crazy. There's just so many other legendary. We got Don Flamingo's voice actor. Like I thought that shit was wild.
Yeah, there were a couple, and I think it was from Van Helsing. Like, yeah. I'm like, I know that, and I was because I mean, if you guys listen to the podcast, you've been on the podcast. I'm terrible with names of everything.
I'm the worst.
I'm like, I know that voice, and it brings that familiarity right into it with it. If you've watched anime or anything else and whatever they've been in, but it's just like, I know this person. Like, yeah, it's really really crazy.
Yeah, I think that like. That's the most unbelievable part for me. Like I didn't think like that's the kind of thing like I normally am pretty optimistic and I think like, oh yeah, this is gonna be, this will happen for sure. But that was one of the things like I couldn't believe was going to happen.
How did that happen? If you
so like I want to shout out to Ash from SMG Studios. They make Moving Out, great game. That I was always been a big inspiration from that game, actually artistically, when I was first starting out in 3D stuff. And SMG Studios, I reached out to them one day and told them about my game, and I told them like, hey, I'm getting a lot of interest from companies. I'm a fan of your game. Can you give me advice or whatever? And then they just took me under their wing and just made me their like. I don't know. Ash just took care of me for any type of game dev. Yeah. He's basically my game dev mentor for this entire time, and has always just been super supportive of anything I ever did. But his company is also in partner with a really big company in Japan, and that company in Japan is very powerful. They can do like all sorts of, whatever. If you want it, you ask for it. They can get it for you for the most part. And so that was such a lucky, like, oh, what a coincidence. That's a great great thing. So once SMG got invested into the game, that's when, because of those connections with SMG Studios, they were able to have, those Japan connections, and through them, they were able to pull any actor that we wanted.
Wow.
Because that company is like that powerful or whatever, and this it's like I was like, okay, well, that's great. And so basically we gave them a list of voice actors that we wanted. I didn't pick it. Moa was the big brain on that one. She's like a big voice actor fan, and she actually went to the studio with them and helped, gave them a little direction or like, talked to them about the role or whatever. But the other crazy thing, and I know I'm going on about this, but like,
please do.
They loved the script. They thought it was so good. They were all so happy that they got to act. A lot of them got to act in ways they don't normally get to do. Like, we let them do whatever they wanted. Like, if they wanted to like change the script slightly, or if they wanted to like just say like some crazy line or like scream or make a weird sound, we'd let them do it. They did whatever they wanted for the most part.
Like the podunk statue, that was so
funny. Yeah, she's like,
I can't do it. I tried.
I can't do it. But she did that, and she was so happy that we let her just do that type of stuff. That they all enjoyed the working experience so much that they all were like, yeah, if you do an anime, we'll come back and do the voices. So,
wow.
I so hope that happens, man. That'd be so awesome.
I think an anime for the game would be great. I think it'd be really funny. Because I think it just has like a lot of potential.
So anyone at that company know anyone at Netflix? And
yes. There's so that's like basically, if this game does well, that's going to open the doors for a lot of crazy stuff.
Awesome.
So the possibilities are endless. I just have to let people know that the game exists.
But
that's my biggest challenge.
I mean, all the characters, like, I haven't gotten through the entire game, but like and that's awesome for VR. But out of all the awesome characters, like Junko, man, just you meet her, you learn how to fish. She punches a fucking shark. I mean,
That was a last minute addition.
so
I literally put that in like a day, like 2 days before the game was.
a bad pun, but I was hooked right there.
Yeah. I was like, she has to punch a shark. That's got to be in the game. So like, we all worked really hard to get that in last minute. But yeah, that's it. Just she was actually one of the very first female characters that we ever designed. One of my friends who used to work on this game with me starting out back in the day, he suggested the character. He's like, I want you to put a really buff fisher lady in there and it's gonna be great. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, that sounds great to me. So yeah, Junko's goated. Yeah, her voice actress is amazing. She did a really good job. I had no idea how she was gonna sound, and I think it turned out like amazing. Like, so, and she's really sweet. She retweets the game all the time and helps promote it. But yeah, love Junko.
I have a close the loop question.
Yeah.
Way back in the dev roundtables, you mentioned I think you had like I don't know if it's a ghostwriter or some sort of somebody giving you notes, some Japanese writer giving you notes, and something about like you had the quintessential bad boy character that everyone loves, and then that's like not popular anymore, and you friction in there. Like, how did because you were like you were so mad, you're like, I want this character, and he's saying it's not popular, don't do it, and you're like, Arr.
Yeah. I mean, I just pretty much whatever there are. She's not even a ghostwriter. She's actually just our writer. Whatever she said, we just did. I didn't want to like grind any gears or do anything like that, because like if that's types of characters aren't very popular over there, I don't want to like do anything too, because I'm trying to cater to multiple audiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to do, so we took it out, it's fine.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to make sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to kind of like make concessions on things that, even if it's your game, you still want to have
compromises.
You want people on your team to like feel it's good. You should make compromises if people bring it up. So
yeah, I was just gonna say, in the movie world, you hear some directors kind of work that way, and I think it brings a whole nother level of, because then everyone feels invested and involved. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But do you find that hard to kind of give up that control, or are you like, I totally trust? Oh, it is okay.
No. I want to be in charge of every single minute detail in the game, but that's not good. I started off being that way. I was very kind of micromanagey in some parts, and it kind of really made things difficult. I was like really picky about the game's map, because I had spent like 2 or 3 years planning this game's map, or like dreaming about the game's map and like where it would be set, and I spent so long trying to make the map that it hindered the game's progress by a ton. Big mistake. I shouldn't have been so like nitpicky about the map, even though it turned out amazing, but like it was a big problem. You can't make a game without a map. Okay, we tried. We had this, like, the programmers were so tired of waiting for me to make the map or whatever. They would like they built like this flat version of the map. It was just a flat terrain, and they would just like try to plot out the entire game on this like placeholder map. And it was not good. So I goofed big time.
That sounds like you grew quite a bit as a person through this.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
learned a lot. I mean, it's my first time running a studio. It's my first time running a project of this scale. I think I've done projects before, but they were only for like a few months, right? Not a whole
semester
period. Yeah, just a semester, and I would run those, and I made lots of mistakes in this project. But I think I've learned so much that I really hope I get to keep making more, because now I know how to do everything better, and avoid those pitfalls. But yeah, it was hard to get under control at first.
Did you learn nothing from the Wacky Deli episodes of Rocco's Modern Life?
Yeah, that's such a deep cut. I can only remember so little of Rocco. I only remember Rocco's house, and anything that took place out of his house, I barely remember.
I barely remember it too. I just remember they ran over a cactus in one episode. It was hilarious. But
yeah.
on this, he's like running across the road and stops. But
Yeah. I think there was an episode I remember with about a toaster. That's
I don't remember.
yeah. Anyway, we're old.
But yeah, they just like when you give like artists full control over a big project.
Yeah.
It needs a team.
Yeah, it's tough. Like it's just not. I shouldn't have been that way, but yeah.
Now you know.
You're not, you know.
Yeah, at least I wanted to try.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop talking about the game, but do you like? And I know like
Talk about anything.
the game just launched, but I'm just curious because obviously we've talked to a lot of devs, but if you were to make,
all the cool people.
we try to, yeah, just to take some time sometimes. Are you looking to continue work on this game? I'm sure you are a little bit, but like, is there like another game you'd like to kind of switch gears to?
Spoilers. So if you don't want to hear any spoilers, just close your ears for a second. The game ends on a cliffhanger, right? So there's supposed to be a part 2 to the game, and I hope we get to make it. So.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to keep more adding. We have like actually some big updates planned. Like at the moment, you can't play mini games multiple times, or whatever, or you can't repeat quests, and so we're going to add the ability to do those types of things.
Awesome.
So that'll be a big update, and then another big update. Hopefully we get to make part 2 one day. Like hopefully this sells enough that we can make part 2, and whatever happens after that, I would love to keep making more content for the game as long as I'm able. But I do have a side project that I'm tinkering with on the side. Because like at the moment we're just kind of waiting on to see how the game does. So we have no idea what our future is. Like it's very, who knows? And so like outside of just like polishing the game, which we do it during the week, and so on the weekends. To settle my brain and decompress, I'm working on like a small side project.
Nice.
It's going to be a it's going to be an FPPS.
First person passive shooter?
Yeah, a first person pacifist.
Similar.
So if you kill someone, it's game over. But you still got to use your gun to like, do things. So that's my next. It's going to be like a Trigun Western themed.
Yeah.
Game.
Love some Trigun.
Yeah. So, So that's kind of like, I want to make more games. I want to keep making more Sushi Ben. But who knows? Who knows?
That's all good stuff, though. Eisen, how'd you get that? This is crazy.
It's a mystery to me. I can't believe it happened. They like the scripts. What can I say?
So, go ahead, Wookie.
You compromised. You relinquished the control. You learned.
Yeah, I learned.
The hero's journey.
Yeah. I think that sounds about right. Yeah.
How do we get it in the hands of more people? Because one thing I have with VR, it's like fun as hell and it's super engaging. But I saw somebody tweet just the other day. I don't remember who it was, but they said something like, got somebody into VR and their wife into another VR game, and it was the best time of their lives, and they haven't touched it since.
I saw that exact thing. I saw that exact tweet, and I was like, it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a good video of the game, like the GIF behind PJ is gorgeous, and that's like enough to catch an eye.
It's enough to catch an eye, but it's not enough to get you the headset on.
Right. And I even have troubles too. Like, I had the Rift. I gave my Rift to PJ because there were so many complications with mine in the room and the sensors and stuff that it was hard to get set up. Like, it took 40 minutes to get set up, and my right arm wouldn't work in Pavlov. And then it turned this way, and PJ's headshot me, and I can't do it. So as much fun as VR is, it is sometimes a challenge to put the headset on. But even if your videos don't look good, because like you said, videos in VR are hard to convey that.
Yeah.
If you get people to put the damn headset on, how do you get them to put the damn headset back on?
Well, I think it's just making something engaging. Like, I am actually shocked at the amount of people who have beat the game already. Like there are people like I think to me it's just engaging content. Hold on, I need to go catch my cat. Sorry.
Do do do. I don't think we've had hold music. Maybe we should.
Actually, I have my headset still on, but
Otherwise,
it was weird starting up the episode because you know in our VR space you hit a button and it does this and that, and I'm like, out of muscle memory, I'm going to hit those buttons. I'm like, hey, you're not doing that.
You're not doing that.
there's nothing to doing it.
I'm just typing weird crap on the screen now. Like,
0 space.
Swing back around to the headset thing, like, I think that the Quest 3 is a huge improvement on that reusability. You know, outside of the Quest 3 being like easier to put on your head, and MR goes a long way in making using a VR headset just feel so much better.
yes.
I don't have to like look for my controllers anymore. I can just put it on because like I'm a messy, disorganized person. My controllers are all over the place, and so like I can find my controllers. If my cats are yelling at me, I can just go walk over there and grab the cat and move them out of the way or whatever. You know, it's fantastic. But my mom, she's never used VR before. She bought a Quest 3. She was able to buy it, install, and use and play my game without any help from me at all. And just she's like, 100 years old or something. So for her to be able to use like a VR game, and then she enjoys it enough that she keeps playing it. Obviously, because it's my game. Obviously, she's gonna enjoy playing it, right? But still, just it's not so annoying that she doesn't want to keep putting the headset on.
Yeah.
So I think
Barrier reduction. Yeah.
I think the Quest 3 is a step in the right direction, and then I think that the content of the games just needs to be more compelling.
That's absolutely true too.
People keep thinking, people keep seeing games, and even with my game, perceptions or people are saying like, oh, it's just a collection of mini games. Well, yeah, it is a collection of there is a collection of mini games, but there's also a story that connects them all. But most people think that about mini games, and trying to change that perception of VR games being tech demos is tough.
But and not that you can't play your game standing up, or should you not play it standing up, because I play standing up as much as I can, but I also work long days, and some days I just love having a game like yours where you can just kind of exist in the world, go through the narrative, get a story, get out of, get into a new universe and forget about real life for a while, and sit down.
That's literally what I told everyone. I've been preaching that since day one when I've been making this game. I will never play the game standing. Never. The only time I've ever played this game standing was when I had to test ping pong, because ping pong it's pretty tough if you're sitting for the most part, but because I wanted to have more fun, because standing ping pong is awesome. But like I never stood once making this game. Because I know there's people like you. I'm like you. When I was done waiting tables, I'm not gonna go stand and play a game. And I think that's something that Meta needs to do, like marketing wise, is show that there are games that you can play sitting down, and once you do that, even though like, could you imagine just advertising someone sitting on a couch? Like, I don't think that's probably very sexy advertising, but like,
well, I'd almost disagree with that. Like, if you show someone laying in bed and doing like a MR hand game, or watching Netflix, and that's one thing where the Quest 3, like the OG head strap is really good for. Like, you can just lay back without an issue. And
I don't swap out my headset for that reason. I like how comfortable this thing is. I don't like clunky, big, thick headsets. I've always used the default strap.
Because with the Quest 2, I had the Elite strap, and you can't do that. You lay down and it just like lifts it off your face. Yeah.
It's not great. But now you can like, it's so cool. That pass through is good enough to like actually do it. Actually do something that lets you use the app.
Yeah, I fully agree. Because again, I have a game room, and like Rift has been to this day like my favorite headset overall. And even though the screen isn't as clear and all that, I still use it because overall, like, comfort audio, all that. So I have my cables managed. Like I can literally come in here and put my headset on and not have any barriers that we've been kind of talking about.
Yeah.
The moment I put the Quest 3 on when I got it, like I'm like, uh-oh, this might be it. Because
This might be it. It felt good, right?
it's light, it's very clear. The pass-through, I think, is incredible. Like you said, just being able to put my controllers on my hands and wrists or whatever without fumbling is amazing, because I also really like the PSVR 2 headset, but thankfully that pops out, but the controllers are so crazy, like you can't put them on without looking at them. You just can't.
Yeah.
So that, coming from that to the Quest 3, like it was just like magic. And you just leave your little play space and you're right in, you can see everything, you can walk down a hall, like it's just it's pretty.
I walk around with my headset on all the time.
Yeah.
So your launch party or whatever where you were at, the sushi shop with the thing on. I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think I did that just for the jokes. Like I and I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't. That was literally the real life Sushi Ben, right? So like, I had to do it. I wish if I didn't realize I didn't have internet or whatever there, because like I wanted to play the trailer while I was eating as like a marketing thing, but I couldn't get it to work. So I was like, I tried preloading it, but it lost its buffer. So, but yeah, I think the Quest 3 is such a huge step in the right direction, and I think that like even like plugging in the power, like when my battery's low, I just go boop boop, and then I grab the cable, click it in, and I'm done. That's it, and then I go back into my game.
Yeah, it's a game changer, I think.
Yeah.
But
I'm still rocking the Quest 1.
Yeah. Pain. But again, the answer to the question is like, how do you get people to see your game and buy it and put the headset on and keep coming back? It's the Quest headset being awesome, like the pass-through stuff, and then just good content that's worth coming back to, I think.
Well, Twitter used to be like the easy mode to do all that stuff, but now it kind of seems like it's a little bit jacked up. So
Twitter is a mess. My account was search banned not long ago. Like on release week, my Twitter account had some like dings on it for some reason. It was search banned, and like none of my content was being promoted. So that feels bad. But yeah, like I have plenty. So there's one thing about my game, I know for a fact that people have bought headsets just to play our game, and I watched some of them live stream, and it was so painful to see them like getting over those first VR hurdles, like getting used to using the controllers or like any of that stuff. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I wish I could help you. I wish I could hold your hand, Sometimes I would hop in the chats and I would help them. I'd be like, oh, if you press the controller forward, you can teleport or whatever. Even though they saw the tutorial, sometimes they would forget, because they're new to the VR.
Yeah.
And
sometimes if I get into a game, I still forget. Like, oh hey, I can also teleport. Like I'll just forget.
Yeah, because like normal gamers, teleporting is not a thing. And I think even a lot of VR games, teleporting is not like default. Like, it's not like people don't want to teleport, right? They don't. Most people think that they want to just walk around and use locomotion. But I think in our game, it's actually fun to teleport because you teleport on top of buildings, and you can like just go wherever you want with teleporting. And so we tried to incorporate that into like parts of the games where you kind of like have to teleport for some things. I like teleporting around. I like stick locomotion. I like to use all of it. So
yeah.
But
yeah, I'm a big options person. The more you can supply, the better. And I love games that you can walk around all you want, and then you just like do like click something, or on the other stick you just push forward and teleport whenever. Because some games where you can climb and jump and stuff, it's great. But again, like sometimes, depending on the game, like, okay, I already did that. I don't want to go through all that. Like if you died or something, like I don't want to do that again. I just want to get over there. So,
quick save.
Yeah, it's, I don't even get me going on saves, because that's my biggest, one of my biggest things in VR is saving. But
we goofed hard on our save states. I think our biggest complaint currently right now is that this, other than just bugs that we've already fixed and things or whatever, but biggest complaint, saving in our game is awful. Because the game wound up being, when we added voice acting, the game became longer than we had anticipated, or whatever. Like the quests were supposed to be like 15 minutes each, or whatever. But when we started adding like voice dialogue, it became it's doubled the length of every quest, and we thought maybe okay, 15 minutes, then then once you complete the quest, it'll save for you because nothing is that long. But now our quests are like 30 minutes each, and they don't have any checkpoints, and so like if you quit in the middle of a quest and you didn't complete the quest, you have to start over.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing with, especially on the Quest headsets. Your battery is gonna die. Like, yeah, you could rush to get it plugged in, but sometimes you just don't make it.
And the biggest thing we're working on once we finish the PS2, the PSVR version, is reworking the save system, because it doesn't work for the scope of the game. But when we first made the game, because like that's one of the very first systems we had to make was the save system, and it just no longer no longer fit the pace of the game. So, but there's nothing we could do about it until the rest of the game is done, and so now we can go back and fix it. But yeah, that's our biggest that is the biggest complaint about the game. There's a lot of low stars on the reviews that say the save system sucks, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
We know.
We know.
I'm probably one of the worst people for that. Like, not that I've complained about your games. I don't have a Quest 3, but
yeah.
My horror story for that is playing Skyrim when it came to the 360 and the old Kinect, and it had like a voice command. The only way you could quick save in that entire game if you had a Kinect. So I plugged it in, and then I hate redoing like a hallway. Like, hit a trap, died. I don't want to loot all of those things. And I would just sit there, quick save. And my girlfriend would hear it like down the hall. And I'd be like, quick save. And I would just do it, and like Sean Connery, like, quick shave. Like, whatever. And she's like, shut up. I'm like, I can't, because I don't want to walk down the hallway again. So I'm sorry on behalf of most gamers that are like me, lazy.
It's not. I think that's valid. Like, I think there's no there's technical reasons why our game doesn't have like a quick save. We don't have $1 billion to come up with like a super amazing save system, and it's really complicated with a game like ours. Like, you have to make sure all the NPCs are at that given point when you save, and then make sure that it's a big mess. It's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. Everyone thinks that like games, you make a game. Saving a game is the most basic thing in games. Like, that is like the thing that every game has nowadays. Most games all have quick save, but it's not an easy thing to implement. It's not something that you can just. It takes a ton of work, and we just did not have the manpower to do something like that.
Yeah, and it's not a laziness thing all the time. Like, it's a time saver, like you said, Wookie. Like, in a game like Skyrim, like, I don't want to do the same thing twice if I didn't.
You shouldn't.
I want to just keep moving forward with my time. Like, sometimes I only got 10 minutes. I don't want to like.
Yeah, you should respect. We should respect players' time, and no one wants to redo content they've already done if they haven't beat the game already, right? So like. Yeah. So that is our biggest focus. Like, we really want to get that fixed, because I don't want people to have that problem. I feel for them.
So, kind of on that point, I'm curious from a dev's perspective. Some people don't look at the reviews. Some look at every single one of them and reply.
Yeah.
It all kind of depends on your temperament or whatever you want to call it. But how do you roll with reviews and stuff? And
I read every single one of them. I will find I want to know every single opinion, because I want to genuinely figure out why they feel that way, and I want to potentially fix the problems that they have with it. Like, I don't think that.
I can attest that you do that, because I left my review, and like 2 minutes later in our private chat, you're like, hey man, thanks. So wow.
Yeah, I literally every day when I wake up, I refresh the reviews, because like it refreshes once a day. So before I get out of bed, I read the reviews. I check and see if anyone had, because a lot of times people, because games, like, reporting a bug in a game is weird. There's no easy way to do it. So some people would leave a bad review so that they see that the bug that they have, and so that we go and fix it. Or they could come in our Discord, or they can email us. There's a million ways to reach us, but a lot of people just leave a bad review and say, I love the game, but can you fix this? And I'm like, yes. I will go and fix that. And so every day when I wake up, I check that to make sure that no one has left a review that I can't make better, right? And I just enjoy seeing people enjoy the game. Like I had no idea if people were gonna like the game or not. You know.
So if
I
you
liked the game, so, but I don't know if other people would.
Your mom liked the game.
My mom liked the game. I can't believe it. I thought she would roll. I thought she'd die if she saw Manami's intro. But she said that was awesome. She said that was so cool, and I was like, "Thanks, mom."
But there could be an advertising slogan there, like my mom likes the game.
My mom likes the game. Yeah, if my mom likes the game, she's never played any VR game in her life. She's barely played any video game in her entire life, and then she was able to put on a VR headset and play without getting sick. I think that's a pretty good testimonial. You know?
Yeah, that's.
No VR legs needed for Sushi Ben. Sit in your chair, press and teleport or walk, whatever. You're good. Yeah.
So I mean, we've talked about it before. I don't know if you've been part of the conversations, but you know, with a really bad review, like there's always an ounce of truth, but you know, just masked with, you know, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. But has any of them affected you for a little bit before you can say, okay, they're just saying, you know, they're just they want to enjoy the game too, and they just can't for some reason.
So there was a review. So like some of the reviews aren't in English, right? So some of them are French or Japanese or whatever. And there was this. So I'll go and scroll. This guy gave me 2 stars, and I'm like, why did he give me 2 stars? And I scroll down, and he goes, "The game is ugly."
What?
Just like, and I was just like, I don't. You just have bad taste. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only time. Like, if someone calls the game ugly, and they're not like critical about it in a way like, oh, the foveated rendering is too high, or the pixel density isn't high enough, and so the game is a blurry mess. Those types of critiques and feedback I want to know, and some of them I can't fix because of, you know, performance reasons. But yeah, that stuff. I don't know. I haven't been. There hasn't been a bad review. There hasn't been a review yet that I considered that bad. Like,
nice.
The only bad reviews are ones where the game crashes, and we fixed all that stuff. So like they changed their reviews. So
nice.
As long as they change the review, that's
yeah. Like updating the review, that's great. Like
it's hard enough to get people to leave a review.
Yeah.
So they go back and fix a review.
That's crazy. Yeah.
You've reached out and you touched your brother hard.
Yep.
I'm still stuck on the guy calling it ugly, because I mean, it's not like you see the screenshots and the video and you fire up the game and it looks any different.
Yeah. It looks at this point. It isn't different. They're not doing anything. It's like the only difference might be like pixel density in some areas.
Like, you shouldn't get an hour into the game and be like, I hate anime and this art style. Like
why did he buy the game in the first place? Like, why did he buy it? It looks just like it does in the trailer. Why would you buy it and call it ugly? I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone's got their opinion. I mean, I don't know. It's weird.
Weird. They're not worth figuring out sometimes.
Yeah. So, like sometimes reviews of that, you're like, well, I definitely disagree with you, and all the other 5-star reviews calling the game beautiful, you know, you ignore that kind of stuff. Yeah, I can't think of anything. I can't think of anyone calling the game unfun. You know what? Actually, the one critique that people leave that hurts a little bit
Muse
is the lack of interactivity in the game. I just didn't have the time or budget to add a lot of interactivity to the game. Because we were
petting dogs, or
no, you can pet dogs in my game. I made sure that you could do that.
What else do you need?
That's like,
you say, like, what?
That was the ultimate. Like, that was like day one. Like, if there's a dog, you have to be able to pet it.
I've got panels. I've got petting.
Yeah, I got panels. I got petting. Like, so like in the players. If you ever go into the player's apartment, there's all these like doors and knobs and stuff. You can't play with them. I'm sorry. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Because like that stuff is fun, but I still think it's novelty. You know?
Yeah. Do you get in a game that actually has that, and you do it once or twice, and then you don't do it again? If it's not a part of gameplay, if it's not like a core element of the game where you have to go and like search for items like in drawers or like things like that, it only adds short-term value, and VR has enough short-term value. Like I think that do I want those? Yes. I want them. I think everything in a VR game should be interactable, but I don't think a studio of my size can do that. We couldn't. We tried.
we just couldn't pull it off. There was just it's just too much work, and it's also very performance heavy on some places or whatever to do that. My cat is being an absolute jerk.
Mine are too. I don't know. It must be a full moon or something.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I think those reviews hurt, and then the other negative reviews where people say you can't talk to NPCs. Out
You don't have ChatGPT and
yeah. I can't go around. We have dialogue written for them. We couldn't get it all in. You know, there's just so much. The game is so big.
I mean, that's for the fun of it. Like, I talk to them even if you can't in game. I just talk to them.
Yeah, I mean, I see people when they're streaming, they just talk to them, even like with their mouth. You know, they're like, "Hey, you know."
I mean, it's just like that doorknob that's not going to let me turn it.
Yep.
I mean, it's part of your own creativity. Like,
yeah, I have seen people do such fun stuff with the game. I never would have thought, like, because I was worried that our game didn't have any of that, like, what's that word?
Je ne sais quoi.
No, it's something that describes like organic, like gameplay happening organically that the players didn't the devs didn't intend. There's a word for it. I just don't remember what the word is. But it's emergent gameplay. So I thought our game didn't have any opportunity for that type of gameplay where the players will do their own thing and they'll have a fun time with it. There was somebody who found a bug, because there was a bug where this pig didn't despawn when he was supposed to despawn, and so someone just took it was Adam Bomb Adam Bait
Adam Bombody.
Adam Bombody. She took one of the pigs that was left over from a quest, and she stole it and stuck it in her apartment.
Did she tweet about that?
Yep.
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah.
Like,
She tweeted about that, and she just like took the pig hostage. It's crazy.
so I have to ask: when you fix things, did she lose her pig?
Yeah, because the pig despawns and when we load the next part of the game. But I'm making that a feature.
There you go.
I'm gonna keep that in the game where you can like just steal pets.
You have to give it like you have to give one of like that one of them like red hair or something in honor of her.
Yeah,
she's so awesome.
It's so funny. And then one of our other players, his name's Catman. He's in our Discord, and he'll post like the funniest stuff. He went and caught like 50 eels or something, and then set them all at the dinner table, and was pretending like he was having sushi with the eels. And then he would just carry eels around the entire game and would just slap people with them. I was like, yes, I'm glad that happened. And this one girl, she caught him. We thought we deleted an asset. Like there was like you could catch like a piece of meat or whatever. It's a really low chance. We thought we removed it from the game, but she caught this piece of meat, and then she like just took it to her apartment and just left it there and was like talking to it like it was a pet or something. So I'm glad people are doing stuff like that.
I love randomness.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we've actually given Dmaw here the usual treatment, asking like what games they grew up and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where did you? What's your first experience in game? What do you?
I think the very first game I ever saw was Link to the Past. My cousin had like a Nintendo NES, or a Super NES, whatever. I saw that game. I was like, wow, that's so cool. And then a few years later, I finally got like Donkey Kong was the very first game I ever played. Or like, Donkey Kong Country was the very first game I ever played. And I love that series. So like Donkey Kong, I grew up playing Donkey Kong. And then the Zelda games just wound up being like a big inspiration. Like I tried to make my own version of Majora's Mask in this game, but I kind of that wound up being too hard, so I had to ditch that idea. But yeah, Majora's Mask is my favorite all-time game.
Really?
Yeah. And then World of Warcraft, like RPGs like Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross, Grandia on the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
And then Grandia 2 or whatever I think was one I liked.
I think it was Grandia 2 was one I like.
Yeah.
It was like a time-based, like turn-based, so you could actually do some actions at a time. I was sitting there like,
Yeah.
What is this, man?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh,
I loved that game, and then like so Zelda, those types of some RPG, JRPGs. Final Fantasy X was a big one for me. I even tried to cut my hair like Titus's hair or whatever. So there's some strange photos of me on the internet somewhere with weird anime hair. And then I think the other biggest influence for me is World of Warcraft.
yeah.
I played that. I mean, that was like my religion, playing World of Warcraft, from the time I was like 14 to college,
Nice.
when I had to quit it. And then Dota 2 is the other game that I did.
Friend of mine was in a WoW guild. I forget what it was called, with somebody that created the original Dota.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
He would like tell me weird facts. I don't remember him. And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
I guess Ice Rock technically might not have made Dota, but yeah, maybe it was one of the guys.
That's what he said anyway. I had no.
It would make sense. I mean, it would make sense.
It was one of the big guilds where you had to like get the points before they had any point system and do the raids. He was always complaining about that crap. And
yeah, our guild had that stuff too. We had like the DKP system or whatever.
I was just walking around ganking.
I love ganking people. Like that was my favorite thing to do. I think PvP more than anything. So yeah, once I started playing WoW, other games kind of just fell off the radar for me.
That happened.
Yeah, I'm usually a one game kind of guy. Like I don't really play a lot of stuff.
Oh, so if you had like, say, a brother that might just play every game that comes out, and then seemingly like, oh, if I had somebody to play this with, like shame you every week. You'd be kind of like, I'm playing my one game, leave me alone.
I'm playing my one game, leave me alone. Yeah.
Right.
No, sorry, I'm stuck on WoW. I just love the social. I love social games. Like any type of game that has like a social aspect to it, I want to. I like that. I wish to make Sushi Ben multiplayer one day. That's the dream.
Nice.
That's always
I mean, we played WoW for a long time and many times and taken many breaks, but one of the first go-arounds, like, I mean, we just had so much fun. Like, Wookie, a friend of ours, and myself, like, before we really knew how the game worked. Yeah. Well, it might have been can't remember where we were at exactly. Wookie will know as soon as I say it, but my friend and I were up in a tree, and Wookie took all his clothes off and was on the road in front of the tree, like trying to attract the horde to come attack him, so we could.
We were in the southern half of the Barrens.
That's
southern half of the
Barrens. Yep.
Nothing like Barrens chat.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there naked, like trying to be the piece of meat and trying to get somebody to come over and gank me, and it just wasn't.
That's so funny.
Dwarf wasn't sexy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There was a repeat. One of the New Year's Eves, we were in Lac Modan on top of the inn, dancing naked, celebrating the New Year. You know, like just I don't know, stupid crap, but you can do so much.
That was January 1st, 2005. That was
that's when I started. Right after I started playing that time. Like, yeah, I loved WoW. Like, I'm actually gonna play. I started playing as soon as I finished the game. I installed WoW Classic to do hardcore.
Nice.
So I've been playing that a little bit, and then like I want to do. I hope they have Classic Plus. I hope that's an actual thing with BlizzCon. I hope they announce that at BlizzCon because I'll definitely go full time or something.
What's the plus part of that? I don't know.
So like instead of like making new expansions, they're gonna instead of like adding the expansions. It's gonna be its own thing. So WoW Classic will have its own, just become its own game where it'll have like updates that are not the old WoW expansions. You know, like no Burning Crusade, no, none of that stuff.
That's what I was hoping too. Because like, I started playing Classic. But it does take a lot of time.
Yeah,
which would be fine if you had like a regular crew. Then it doesn't matter if I'm leveling up or not. But sitting there when it first came out, nobody's playing it with me, and I'm sitting there like, okay, Night Elf Druid chick.
Yeah.
I don't know why somebody on the server they left the server. I'm like, I just got to like level 29, and it took me ages.
Yep.
Because I can't play 24/7, so that's the sucky part. But
yeah. I do kind of miss that kind of slow pace.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now that I'm old, I'm nostalgic for that.
I got nothing against it. It's just like you said, it's more fun with like the group.
People,
Keep you from the back. Be like,
you need the people.
We're getting skills and leveling up, and now the retail has some really cool stuff about it. But like, the little skill vendors where you got to go. Oh, I got to go back to town to skill up. Doesn't even happen. You just get them all. It's like what? I said, where's the slowness? Everything's just like thrown at you. Like,
There's too much. It's too overwhelming. They destroyed like the social aspect by you just like hop in to find a raid, or like there's a lot of Dungeon Finder that just kind of ruins a lot of the charm of the social aspects of WoW.
It's double-edged sword because it's like I never really got into the big guilds because there's not time for that.
Yeah.
So without it, I wouldn't have gotten to do anything. So.
Yeah, no, it's a weird thing, and so like that's why people want Classic Plus for like people who want like that old school feel, and for it to be its own thing. So
that'd be cool if it happens.
Hopefully that'll happen. We'll see.
Are we going to end up in a clan together? And
yeah, sure. Yeah, why not? Let's go. Bring it in. It'll be fun.
My problem with games, and we can stop talking about this, but whatever. I'll go forever. But like, I will if friends are hooked on a game, I will practice that game. I was just telling this to PJ and our nephew and stuff like. Destiny 1 came out, and people are playing. We're trying to tackle the first raid in that game. We're trying not to get any spoilers. We're going in blind, and I'm sitting there practicing. Yeah. No one else is playing. I'm sitting there getting better at it. So like, if you remember old school WoW, there was I don't remember their name, but it was I think it was a druid on the Alliance side. They had all the stuff, and they had some. I don't remember what it was, a hat or a ring, whatever. It made you look like a human pirate.
Oh, so
they'd turn into the cheetah and run, but they would still be a pirate. So you couldn't tell what form they were taking.
That's crazy.
They were like a PvP monster. It was like my idol.
That's hilarious. I actually didn't know that, because I mean I played a druid too, but I never had the pirate's ring or whatever, so I didn't know that was a thing. I never noticed.
Yeah, there's PvP videos of this person just smashing people because you can't tell when they're cheetah running away fast and then go back getting mana, doing whatever, come back.
Yeah. Just... I used to make PvP videos.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wish I'd made videos.
We had I don't know if y'all remember like there was a website called Curse or whatever, and that's where you got all your add-ons and shit. And they started doing before YouTube. Well, that's good. Before YouTube was a thing. They were trying to do video uploading or whatever, and we uploaded my first PvP video to that site, and it was like featured on the front page for like a week or something.
Nice.
Because it was so dumb. People liked it. So. Good times.
Apparently, the number one Sushi Ben fan is in our YouTube chat.
Crazy Cat Man, number one.
Really nice.
Yeah. He's he is the. Yeah, he's the biggest fan. I have to say, he is the biggest fan.
Does he have eels with him?
Yeah, he's the eel guy. Yeah, he's the eel guy. He's
nice.
The eels. I'm sure he's sitting there in VR with eels, listening.
Find a rubber eel and send it to him.
Yeah, I love our community. I think there's a lot of fun people.
That's good. It's hard to keep and build a community, so if you got one, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's tough. We got a few core members that are pretty awesome, and then it definitely has been great to see people enjoy the game and stick around. So
it's fantastic news, man.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Watching.
Yeah, I'm happy. Everything's going good. Like I was expecting like a blast of sales at the start, but that didn't happen. But I don't think that was probably ever going to happen, regardless of anything I could have done, just because of how stacked that launch week was.
Like people still playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. I mean, it's like there's a lot of competition, and it's just I think we'll get our time. I think once we have there's some big VTubers that are going to try playing the game sometime, and if they stream it, I think that'll be a big boon. But a lot of people are waiting for that Steam version so they can stream better. So maybe that'll be a big boost. But I'm hopeful, and I think things are going to go pretty well in the long run.
So, speaking of that, I have a question and a comment. I really love devs like yourself where on the meta platform you have cross-buy. So you buy it, you can play it on any version of that system, which is awesome.
Yep.
So having said that, so you have like the PC meta version, right?
Yep.
So again, I I can barely log into. I've already forgot the frickin' name of the system to code shit. Unity maybe. It took me like, and I'm a technical person. Like I am into technology. Like the first time I tried to get in Unity, I couldn't even get the goddamn thing to work. So there's where I'm at. So if you already have that version, and this is just me with my dumb understanding.
Yep.
Aside from what we've talked about, like the quirks of every platform and the controllers and all that, like,
yep.
How much? I don't know if there's a way to quantify, but like, how much work is it from that PC version to Steam platform?
So if anyone who's ever played our PC version, it's not optimized for like the lowest. Like some people's, because everyone has a computer is different, right? So like optimizing for PC is actually kind of difficult. The version that we have on PC isn't optimized that well, and I've noticed some people streaming with it had some frame stutters, so that's something you need to look into. Figure out why the PC version is, not rock solid, and it may never be rock solid, just because people got different computers and things, and it's hard to manage that. But so making sure it's performant, at least a baseline, find a good baseline to keep it performant, and then really, it's just making sure it works on all the headsets. That's really the biggest thing left to do. But we have other priorities. Like we need to get the Sony version out. The baseline of the game was the Meta Quest version, right? So it's got to run on Quest. So that's the one we developed for. And then once that one's done, then we can go to PSVR, and then we go to HTC, and then we go to Steam. So that's really, it's just testing the headsets and all that stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, and performance, making sure it runs pretty good.
And like I said, we've been talking for years, and you've always seemed to have like a pretty optimistic outlook, and there'd be times you'd come in and you'd be like, I'm done, I'm defeated. But then after chatting for like a half hour, you're like, all right, I'm going back, I'm good.
Yeah,
like, and it was really neat to see like you and Justin and Johnny and he's gonna kill me, Robert. Thank you,
Robert.
Again, better names. To really share, like that's the first time I've ever even been witness, even like on the podcast or even like in our shared chat. Like you guys would be like, hey, I'm fucking dealing with this thing, and then one of the other ones would be like, this is how I did it, and you're like, oh fuck, awesome, thank you. Just collaboration, like awesome.
Sorry, you go.
I was just gonna ramble, so go for it.
Well, I just think that I don't come from a traditional, like I'm not like a traditional dev. I'm not like I didn't go work at a studio. I don't have I'm not trying to be like a savvy businessman or like some kind of like walled garden type person. The only reason why I know how to do anything is because of how people talking about their experiences on Twitter and the game dev Twitter community, and I wanted to do that. Like I wanted to show the entire process of making the game. I wanted to talk about it and be open about everything that I'm going through, because I think that, at least I think, it helps people who might be going through similar, stuff. Mm-hmm. And I like to express myself. I'm not like a person who wants to like hide and, I like to, when good things are happening, I like to say it. When bad things are happening, I like to say it,
It brings about a lot of opportunity, because back when I was going to school, a dev from Turbine came in, and they were working on, I think, Lord of the Rings Online at the time. And he said the only reason he got a job because he was always figuring stuff out and then answering questions on message boards, and the people at game dev studios were seeing that and knew he knew what he was talking about and offered him jobs. So if he wasn't doing what you indie devs do, where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, this person over here has already done it, and then you say, well, I figured this out, somebody else, if you don't do that, then there's no community. So
yeah, exactly. Like I think it's valuable. Some people might not like it, some people might think that it's like not how you're supposed to do things or whatever, or whenever we had a publisher that people get mad at me for tweeting things, and I'm just like, so I want to I want to share this experience with people. I don't know.
And I think it helps Go ahead, Wookie.
I'd say there's some devs I see on Twitter. They're like, "What's the point if you're not coding?" And then they throw out. Like, I like those devs too. But they throw out all this, stuff, and I'm like, I wouldn't know what that means.
Yeah.
But so I guess somebody in Joe Schmo's situation, I guess they just don't get to make games. No, there's Unreal, there's Unity.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. No. I didn't know. I don't know anything about coding. Luckily I got into the art side of things or whatever, and I found people that knew how to do programming to do the things that I couldn't do. I tried to learn shader stuff. That was the other thing I was into. But I had no idea about any of this. I just followed guides from YouTube and Twitter, and I don't know. I get DMs all the time from people who message me saying, "Oh, you're a big inspiration. Thank you for sharing."
Nice.
All the stuff about your game and all that kind of stuff. And so I think that not all of my tweets are awesome, but like some, I think it helps inspire some people at least.
Yeah, and it's that, and I think it helps kind of show, like we were talking about earlier, gamers, like the actual side of dev things, and that's what Wookie and I, tried. That's why we talk to devs, to try and share the other side of the coin there. Like, it's hard. It's isolating. It's.
Yeah, I don't think people really. I think if gamers could like understand what devs go through on a daily basis and like how the sausage is made, I think a lot of them would be less angry when things don't go the way they want them to go.
Yeah.
Like me going through QA and going through releasing a game, and the game having bugs in it, I now totally understand why that happens. Like I know exactly, like, our game was in QA from July until October. Okay? From July to October, we didn't do anything but QA the game. No one from my studio, nor any of Meta's QA, no one found this one very specific bug that affected people, that could literally stop people from even starting the game.
Wow.
There was a bug where after you hand the guy on the train his ticket, if you move your head, if you lean this way, if you lean that way, or if you step slightly to the side, you will be soft locked and you cannot move. You will be locked in the game and you can't sit down. You'll be stuck in a collision volume and your laser won't go out to sit down in the chair, and it's over. People reported that bug to us on launch day, and I was like, I can't replicate it. I couldn't figure out how to replicate it because I play seated and I don't really move and I just go through the motions. No one found that bug from July to October. No one. And the game released with that, and people started complaining about it, and I started freaking out, because like, how could this be? And I don't think people understand how just complex finding bugs can be sometimes. Like, we had someone today left a bad review saying that they were falling through the map after playing ping pong, and we're like, and so I go and I try to replicate it, couldn't replicate it. It's like, what is going on? But apparently they had there's like a little option we have that lets you skip all the mini games. So if you just want to listen to the story, you don't really have to do any like fishing or like play anything. You can just listen to the story. And if you check story mode on while playing ping pong, the game will not load the map and teleport you into a black void, and you'll just fall forever. And I didn't know that existed until today.
Wow.
There's lots of little instances like that, like where you can QA the game all you want, you can keep trying, you can keep polishing and trying to do as much as you can, but you cannot avoid releasing a game without at least one or two bugs. Like, unless you have millions of dollars like Nintendo.
I was gonna say Nintendo does all right, but
they are they have so much resources, and they're not afraid to delay games. Like they'll just keep delaying until they know the game is perfect, and they can have a bazillion user testers. They can do all sorts of stuff that like normal game companies just can't do or don't want to waste money on. So,
the players will do it for them.
The players will do it for them, and I hate that is a reality. I hate that that's a thing, but it's so true, because like when you let thousands of people play your game, they're gonna find stuff that you could never dream of finding. I don't know what to do.
How much you can do. I mean, hopefully gamers someday will understand there's a million ways to do something with code. Like if you got to, even not in games, I got this thing. There's like, like based on whatever situation, there's like 50,000 ways to do it, and well, this is a requirement. There's only 10,000 ways to do it, but that's still 10,000 different ways, and depending on how complicated, how many times are you going to do something that's going to screw up Windows?
Yeah, it could fail.
Yeah, it's insane.
There's so many points of failure, and like it is just crazy to me. Like, I mean, but I think people have learned that that's just a thing. I don't think they're happy about it. Like, if you look at Spider-Man 2 released, you turned into a freaking cube, you know?
Yeah.
Like, so I feel bad. I feel really bad when games come out and I see people, like, giving them a hard time about some of the bugs. Like, the devs might have known about those bugs, but they might not have been able to fix them yet. And they might not have money to delay the game. Like, for some small studios, delaying the game equals death. That means the game will not come out.
Yeah.
If you delay any longer. So, if it doesn't break the game, if it lets you keep playing the game, that's usually, they'll release it and then try to fix it as fast as they can.
Yeah, and that's what, with content creators, it's tough too, because, you want to be honest, you want to share your opinion and be honest, and so people respect you and follow you and trust you. But I'm speaking of the game Foglands just came out, and it's just getting ripped apart, and it's like,
I feel so bad.
Freaking relax, people. Like,
I feel awful for those people, because like that is just so, like, I can see why all those things happened, and I can see that, like, sure, maybe there's one or two things that could have been, like, probably should have been fixed sooner, but, like, there might have been something worse that they fixed.
Yeah.
Right? There could have been something that, like, take for my game, for instance. In July, we discovered that there was a bug that would just crash the game if you stood still for more than 2 minutes. If you stood still for 2 minutes, the game would turn off. No reason. It would give, the crash logs gave us no reason. We still don't know why. We have freaking no idea why this happened. And it delayed the game for 2 months, and we almost died because of it. The game almost did not come out. We almost were literally not going to come out if we didn't solve that bug. That would be the end of Sushi Ben. So, like, you don't know. Huh?
What'd you do?
So, we did. So we couldn't figure out what it was. We knew that it wasn't, like, performance, because what we did is we put a map. We made a map that was just that had a cube, and we would just stand on the cube. All four of our, like, three of us on the programming team, we'd just sit there with the headset on, and in unison, at the same time, we'd start the game. Then the clock would tick down. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, everyone crashed at the same time. Absolutely insane. No idea why that happened. But what we did was
1 minute 59, you just moved a little pixel.
So that was actually, no, we were legit thinking about doing that. We were legit thinking about like moving the person just slightly without them noticing it. VR, that's very risky. But so what we did is we were like, okay, well, if it's not performance, then it has to be a setting. But there are thousands of settings you can change in, like, a game that can, like, cause performance issues. So what we did is we went and got Robo Recall, and we copied all of the setting files from Robo Recall, and then put it into our game. It messed up everything. It made a huge mess of, like, stuff, and we had to go fix things and turn things off and on and refix stuff, which took months to do. But the crashes went away. So
that's usually what I got to do in other projects for stuff. This one doesn't work. It worked in this old thing. You got to go copy a bunch of shit.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what we did. We know that Robo Recall was made in Unreal. We know that it runs on Quest 2. We know it doesn't crash, and so we just took all their settings. Because it's an open project. So,
I mean, I've had to do that a million times.
Yep, it was insane. And we sat on that for months. We couldn't polish the game because it took literally all of us on staff to find the crash to begin with, to, like, figure out how to replicate it. Once we learned how to replicate it, then we had to figure out how to fix it, And so, like, all of our resources went into this one bug that could have been gone into, like, polishing animations, could have gone into, like, fixing other minor bugs, and couldn't do it. So whatever was happening on Froglands that caused them to have to not fix those particular bugs.
Yeah.
There could have been something much worse, and it sucks. I feel bad for them. I feel really bad because I don't know if they deserve. I haven't played it, so I can't really comment on it. But like, I don't think anyone deserves that much anger.
No, and it's like, I get it, but it's like you got the game for free. Yeah, I know that's your business, and that's where some people like say I'm like fake and I just like everything, which I just try to be optimistic and I can have fun with most things. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest, like, this is a little rougher and this and that. Like, I've literally changed the course of a few games that are out there that no one will ever know because of feedback, and the devs have told me that. Like,
Yep.
so I'm honest because I want them to succeed. I'll be like, if you ship with this, I think you're gonna get a lot of refunds. And they're like, yeah, you're probably right. Let's try this. And like, hey, that works better. Thanks. Like, and just hearing that for your game, like that one little thing could have just killed it. Like, that's insane. Like, oh
Yep.
my god.
We had no idea why.
Checkboxes.
Checkboxes. It was a checkbox somewhere, and we still don't know what it was. So like, stuff like that is just, it's so crazy to me. And then so like, I'm never gonna like. I think I've only actually publicly ever flamed for Pokemon, the last Pokemon game that came out, because I thought it was. It's a Pokemon company. It's $1 billion company that should have been.
I mean,
should have been polished the balls. But
don't get me wrong. There's cash grabs and shit like that. Obviously, like you can flame and should flame all you want,
Yeah.
but small teams, especially VR indie devs and stuff like that, like, come on.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize you come from a unique you have a unique experience where you actually have interacted with devs on a like personal level on your podcast, where so you're probably going to be more forgiving than someone who's like does nothing but just review VR games all day.
And that's absolutely right, and I don't always remember that because I have spent hours and weeks and months with some games before, like they're even alpha beta versions, and I've been playing them.
Played our game when it was crashing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite the process, and and I've said this before on the pod. Like, that's why we love talking to devs, because like you guys are like heroes to me, because it takes a lot of guts to watch what you guys put yourselves through just to put a game out. And
It's rough.
like, if I didn't like, gaming's my major hobby, and like if I didn't have games to play, I don't know what kind of person I'd be, honestly. Like, because
and that probably I'd be into a lot of bad stuff, I think.
That self-awareness right there is what a lot of gamers are missing, because they're like, the way the games industry seems to go nowadays, every week you got to buy a new game that's going to like complete your life.
Yeah.
And then you're going to hate that game because it didn't complete your life, and then the next game's going to complete your life. It's like they're just full of hate, and they're just screaming about the game, and it's like, you
like, I can
have them.
Like, I can empathize with them a little bit, like I can be like, it sucks when something you really wanted didn't turn out the way you wanted.
It's absolutely true, but then there's also like, people gotta learn to reflect and like manage their expectations.
I mean, if you like, you could just look at the game industry state this year. Earlier people were saying this is the best year in gaming, but then the gaming industry, this was probably one of the worst years ever.
Yeah.
Like, there has been so many layoffs, so many, like, even us, we can't afford to keep our entire, like, everyone. A lot of people are contractors on the team, and we couldn't afford to keep everyone on, for the duration of the project, because we don't have that kind of money. So like,
and I see tweets from people saying like, good. And then it looks like my game, like Fortnite or whatever, is not going to get as much content, but good. And it's like, what does that mean? Like,
yeah, it's a mess. I think.
Okay, so you say VR. What are you gonna do with this? Like,
we need your panel solution for the planet.
Panel solution for the industry. I think that's unions for the most part.
Absolutely.
That's literally the only way the gaming industry is not going to be a toxic like. I'm sitting here thinking, like, if Sushi Ben doesn't do well, then what am I going to do? Do I go work at a company and they get laid off? Like, I can't raise a family on that. Like, I feel that's spooky, man.
yeah.
The instability. It's tough, man.
It also, but like going back to the managing expectations, I wish players would like learn from my example, because like I'll judge stuff a little too early. Everybody does, but way back in like 2014, like Grand Theft Auto 5 come out and everyone's loving that one.
Yeah.
And then one of my favorite games of all time came out, Watch Dogs 1.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know at the time, but I tried to play it and I couldn't get into it. I just something about it, I just hated it. And I was like, it's not good. I just kept like, what is this? And then I kept trying to come back to it, and now I love it, but it's because my brain was like, this isn't Grand Theft Auto 5. And I didn't realize that was going on, but my brain was like, Grand Theft Auto 5 did this better. But if I didn't manage those expectations and figure out what the hell's going on, I would have missed out on like one of the coolest games ever made. And the online portion of that game, I don't think it's probably still going. I can't think that. But it's never going to happen again that way. And it's like, you would have missed something terrific if your expectations weren't managed. And that's what people need to do.
It's so weird. It's like, you don't want customers or your consumers to have to manage their expectations, but like, sometimes that's just the reality. Things don't go the way the devs wanted.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings TV show comes out, and it's just like,
yeah, I mean, you see that happen. You see that in TV shows. You see that in every media form. Like, it's just anything that's creative. Nothing. Sometimes things won't go to plan.
Yeah, I just wish people would learn that more, because like, your girlfriend even talked to me like, she read, I don't know, Harry Potter, and then see it in the movie, and it's like, I can't really watch that because my brain had it like, it's like the same scene my brain thought up, but it's flipped because she's like left-handed. It's like, maybe that's it.
Whoa!
And it takes her like right out of the immersion, and I'm like,
that's crazy.
But it's like, it's exactly what I imagined, but it's backwards. And she finds it weird. But like, again, people, it's just gonna happen.
Yeah.
People go online and just scream about it.
Yep. I just think that, I think even in VR it's even more unfair, because like there's a QA process that if you don't pass, like you have to pick and choose what you have to fix to make sure the game is completable. And Meta won't release a game that you can't beat. At least as far as they're concerned, they won't release it. They won't let you release. Like, we failed QA one time because of that bug that I talked to you about. Like, so.
And then you have to put everything on hold, or
you have to put everything on hold. Yeah. Sometimes it's a pick and choose. What's the worst thing possible? Do you just not release your game ever? Because like that's what would have happened, But
could you put in a teleport feature or something like that, or you put this in because you had to do that. Now everybody's mad you didn't fix the save function you wanted.
That's it. I couldn't go and adjust the save function because something was even worse was happening.
Yeah.
And then there's just stuff that we could never even predict that would happen. Like, I don't think that the people in Insomniac knew that Spider-Man would turn into a cube.
Yeah.
Or maybe they did and they just left it in. That's something I probably would have left in. If I was working on that game and I found that bug, I wouldn't tell anyone and I would just leave it. I'd be like, yes, feature.
Put a smiley face on the cube. Be like,
I mean, they'll just bring that into the Spider-Verse and it'll be Cube Spider-Man. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Think of the marketing potential.
You'll make that meme where all the Spider-Men are like pointing at each other. Just put a cube in there.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone's done that. Yet. It's rough out there for devs. I'll tell you what, it's rough.
I honestly, like, I am not a fan of having like a air quotes normal job.
Yeah.
But just you guys, like, I don't even know how you do it. Like, I know you get some. Oh, here's the thing. Like, just out of the round table, and I don't want to get too in depth, but every single one of you guys had a completely different experience in every avenue of every aspect of the process. Like, some had funding, some had no funding. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like,
some people have day jobs or two day jobs, I'm sure.
Yeah. I was fortunate that I didn't have to. I had a day. Okay, technically I did have a day job. I was working on Little Kitty Big City.
I remember that. I remember your tweets.
Yeah. So I worked on that game while I was working on Sushi Ben on the side, and I tell you what, I couldn't do it. It was tough. It was so tired. I was so exhausted at the end of the work week that I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know how some devs do it.
And that's weird because like I can play in VR for 8 hours, no problem, if the game is that compelling. Yeah. But listening to devs like, I have that headset on for 14 hours a day or more. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I live for the past 3 months. I've just had the headset on from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's tough.
You were talking earlier, PJ, like, people get you're too nice and you like everything or whatever, but
yeah, I'm
like the opposite. I'm the yin yang, whatever the other.
The hater.
Like, not the hater, but it's like, and I guess maybe I have a good critical eye, and I feel like I can provide good feedback, but it's like correct me if I'm wrong, PJ. Maybe I have a twisted view of myself. I'm like more brutal. Like if I review something, it's going to be like honest, and it's going to be like, damn.
Yeah, there was a couple times on the podcast with certain games, like if Wookie did, because normally Wookie doesn't play a lot of things ahead of time because he just has a busier work life, more of a life, whatever you want to call it, than I do. But there was a few, he's like, I don't know what to say. He's like, I can't say anything good because that was pretty rough. And I'm like,
oof. But outside of like the VR stuff, like, I can be that way. But in VR, like I would feel horrible if I like trash some indie dev working their ass off to get this. Yep. The only time where I can bend that rule for myself, and I apologize for not being like a good, I don't know, whatever game journalist thing, but whatever. But like, I couldn't crush someone's dreams. They're still working on this stuff. Yeah. Unless they get like an attitude. One of them got like an attitude once, and I was like, nah, that's bullshit. And they're like, what? I'm like, no, give me the option to turn off auto aim, God damn it, because I don't need it shooting for me. And the guy's like, well, I think players need that because I'm like, I don't. Take it off my games, Like,
some devs do have. I will say they are a bit lost in the sauce when it comes to like features and like some people have a very stern thinking of how things should be, and they want to make you experience it that way because it's their game, their vision or whatever. But like that's also not smart because you want your consumers you want the people at the end of the day. This is a transactional business here. Like I want you to buy my game so that I can buy groceries and live. But if you don't like my game, then you don't have to buy it. Like or you won't buy it, and so then I will be homeless. So I'm always trying to err on like, what can we do to make the player's life easier?
Yeah.
At first my first attitude was like, screw that, I want to make whatever I want, and if it's that way, then y'all are just dumb. But I quickly learned just through some simple user testing that like I would much rather have someone enjoy the game than get stuck and frustrated.
You were trying to prove a point or something.
Yeah, I was trying to prove a point. I was trying to make some trivial thing where because like an example in our game is I hate the light beams that stick out of the buildings in our game when that's a checkpoint to go to. I hate it. I think that's so immersion breaking. I tried so hard to ask them to like get rid of it, but after watching because I didn't want it to be on default either. After watching people play the game though, they got so freaking lost that they were helpless. Like they were just, and it was so hard to watch them struggle for like hours. Some people got lost for hours because we didn't have a light beam directly in the tunnel so that they knew they could walk into the tunnel. They saw a black void in the tunnel and they were like, I can't walk in that. And so no one ever walked into the tunnel to get to the next destination. And I felt bad. I was like, okay, never again. I will make this as easy as possible. And if I had more money, I would make it like an option you could turn on and off. That would be,
and that's oh, go ahead. You got a point to make.
I saw a game that was being reviewed, a shooting game. I don't know if it was on PSVR, if it was on what platform it was on, but it was a shooting game that came out like 2 or 3 months ago, and it was like an on-rail shooter, and it had also guidelines where you're supposed to walk on the ground, like yellow. It had like yellow like paths where you were supposed to walk, like a UI looking thing, and people were complaining that there's no way anyone would get lost in this game or whatever. Like there's no way someone would get confused and turn around and not know where to go, and they were so upset that existed and that was on. I agree that those things should be able to turn on and off, but I guarantee you someone that play tested their game got lost for hours.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Well,
I guarantee
I've been
someone
there.
got lost and didn't enjoy the game because of it. So
one of our friends, like that we play games with, you used to be quite frequently. He's busy now, but he gets mad at like open world games. He's like, he needs the checkpoint, otherwise he just stops. His brain is busy with work all day, and he's like, if there's a room, a hallway, he expects there's to be some sort of prize back there, not just empty. And he needs the checkpoint. Otherwise, he's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm like, make your own fun. And he's like, I don't think it's like that.
my brain is done. Like a lot of people, when you're done at work, your brain is done. Like you don't want to think. You want to just play something that gives you the fun, gives you some give you some of the brain juices that make you feel good.
They need the
dopamine.
Lego booklet telling them exactly what piece to put.
Yeah. I followed the instructions when I bought Legos. Like I enjoyed following the instructions and then putting the pieces together to make the cool building. So everyone's different, but I do think those options should be able to turn on and off. But I do know why. I can see why some of them didn't get a feature to turn them on and off, because it was just the least important part of the process of making the game. They wanted to make sure that people could at least play it, and then maybe they'd swing back to it if they got a chance, but they just never got a chance.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know, I know it takes a bit of work to add options and things like that. And like I said, those those devs that are like, this is my game, this is how you play it. It's like, yeah, I get that, but you can also be creative with the options you're not a fan of. Like, do something different, do something fun with it. Like,
try to innovate.
Yeah. Make it so you like it, so you don't have to worry about it. Like,
It's the hard part.
Yeah, we've been almost going 2 hours here. I don't want to hijack your entire evening, but
I'm getting a little tired now. For some reason, my eyes hurt.
It's staring at my face, my beautiful face, I'm sure.
No.
It is weird to not see you in cube form.
Yeah, right. It's weird. I need Wookiee in here. Next time.
I got 2 cats in my lap, and I got no camera in here. I'm sorry.
That's it. It's okay. Next time.
That avatar is very close, though. So
nice. Okay.
Well, man, it was great talking to you, catching up. But yeah, congrats on your release. I'm so happy for you. I hope it goes better than you want it to, so I can be watching some anime someday.
Yeah, I want anime. Give me that. Let's go. That's my biggest motivator now.
The next goal post.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But,
we'll shout if you start a Warcraft Classic Plus.
Yeah. If Classic Plus comes out, I'll hit y'all up and let's go pick a server and go.
What faction?
I like Horde. I'm a cow man. I like playing as a cow.
Yeah.
I'm either cow or dwarf, so I can.
I like the Tarn. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
I can get behind that.
Okay.
They could be druids.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be a cool band name. We Can Be Druids.
We Can Be Druids. Yeah, let's go.
There you go. There's the guild.
Yeah. That's the guild. That's the guild thing. All right, sold.
All rights reserved. Copyright.
Now I gotta log on as soon as they launch that.
Yep.
Level up and get 100 gold or whatever and get that guild.
Yeah. Oh man, that'd be great.
Oh man, like I said, it's good to see you. Good to catch up.
Now I finally get to see you. Yeah, that's great.
So we're still working on our VR space. We're gonna do Zoom episodes in the interim, and hopefully we can get back to chatting more. But
yeah, if you get the VR space going, hit me up and I'll come hop in.
I think a checkbox destroyed it.
I might literally.
Unreal anyway. Yeah,
it's very possible. It's very possible. It's so painful.
It's dead. It's like the whole thing broke.
All right. Just start unchecking stuff.
We're blaming Cyril's assets. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, those assets are perfect.
Yeah,
no way. Cyril's assets could run on a freaking potato. So
Amiga or whatever.
Yeah, an Amiga. You can run on your smart microwave or something. Smart fridge.
The button.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching, listening, hanging out.
Yep.
If you haven't checked out Sushi Ben, you should.
Yes. Come check it out.
If my lovely
Steam version, just get it now.
Background says anything, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But
all the best.
Yeah.
I hope you guys get to make a million updates to it.
Yeah, I hope so. All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I enjoyed
Yeah.
hanging out, and thank you for always promoting the game and stuff. It means a lot. So
Yeah.
thank you guys.
No problem.
Bye bye.
See ya.
Ciao.
Throwing up the peace sign, but nobody can see. So.
Awesome. It was good to catch up with him.
Dmaw,
Yeah.
who I get confused with a guy we played Reachers VR with named D-Max, because Dmaw is DMAWW, right? And then the other guy was DMAXX. So I'm like, is this Dmaw? He first brought me in there, and I don't know who these people are. I'm like, is this Dmaw? It wasn't.
It wasn't.
But because Dmaw was too busy.
For good reasons. So, I was gonna Cactus Cowboy. The new game came out. I was gonna be streaming that before and after the podcast, but clearly I don't have enough time in the day, so we'll get back to that. But check that out. If you follow us on,
that guy keep doing that for free?
well, the new game is $14.99, but
Oh, okay.
yep. He's finally starting to charge. All the ones before that were free, and that is still crazy. But so many games came out today. I don't know if you saw my tweet with my wish list email. Just bam, 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 bam. Like, it's crazy out there. So we shouldn't be bored for a long, long time. But yeah, Cactus Cowboy Desert Warfare came out today on pretty much every platform, which again, single dev is just insane to me.
On the forward end of the curve for just about everything.
Yeah, he is the first one to have a MR game on the Quest 2. Like, it is just insane. But just want to throw that out there. But also check out Sushi Ben. It's a good time. It's just a great experience being in an anime world.
And even though, like, I checked out the early demo too, and I'm still thinking about the panels. So if anybody listening, like, look at the videos, look at the panels, and it is insane. It is like you said, the instructor tribunal or whatever. Like that, it is impressive. Like, I had never seen that before. And even, like, again, I was trying to do something in Unreal, and I was like poking holes and stuff. I was trying to get a similar effect for some other really random reason. And I saw it, and I was like, ow. I know there's probably a crazy shader involved. I think he hinted at that in chat. It is just impressive. So I think you can just walk around and be like shocked by the manga panels. It's probably so down. So go check it out.
So yeah, we're gonna be working our way back to things. I don't know how. I think we're hoping to do 2 episodes a month or something like that for a while in Zoom. This is the first time we've streamed live in a long time. It looks like it's working. I hope it's working.
Catman came in, so evidently he was seeing
Yeah, hopefully the audio is working. But our next guest, I think, is going to be Jose VR Tech, another great guy on Twitter.
I'm a fan of his since I started my Twitter account.
So he does a lot of things, but I think, I could be wrong. We'll find out. I think he's mostly known for he has like a VR arcade in California, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be chatting with him and hearing about that on the next episode. So check that out. Otherwise, I'll try to get the links in the show notes on all these versions of the episode where you can find Sushi Ben and some videos and all that fun stuff. So
Link to his Discord.
Yeah.
See some eels. Crazy time. Sushi Ben. Finally out. Like, literally, we've been talking to him for like so long.
yeah, it's
His life has just been Sushi Ben. So I thought his real name was Ben. I don't know.
it's not.
Probably is the waiter guy, but like his life has just been Sushi Ben. So everyone's got all the stuff going on. It's like he's just sushi food. So the amount of focus in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it was to the point when we were in Spatial Ape, he joined without an avatar and was the white block with the pill hands. And then we got our space, and our default avatar was the white orb with the pill hands.
Because I didn't want to put a square in there and steal the block.
And then we started getting grief from him about it. Not really, but it was just kind of funny, because he's like, I don't have time to put an avatar in here. I'm working on my game. Just funny shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks again, everyone. We're gonna hang up now. Let you go. Thanks for watching, listening the whole time. Please check out the game. And we'll see you next time. I think we might need a new closer. Like this was our VR verdict with the hammer. The gavel thing doesn't work anymore, but
We don't really verdictize.
no, we don't. I'm too nice.
And I would totally do it, but again, they're
Yeah.
indie devs. I can't do it unless they're a jackass. Then I got to do something. I have a business slam with them either. Cat.
I'll have to play with like fading in and out music at the end and the beginning on the live video here. We'll see.
Loser.
Yeah.
I could still bang on that coffee table. Still got the.
That was so funny. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Promise we're
still
going.
recording?
Yeah, we're going.
No, we were done. I'm yawning.